I'm standing at a door I could easily open. I have the master key. I could skip the next 3 hours of grime, poison, and frustration. But I'm turning around. I want to start off by saying a big thank you to everyone who watched my last video, and to the new subscribers who have joined my little covenant. It really outperformed all my other videos by such a large margin, hitting 250 views by the time I'm recording it. It was honestly a little overwhelming, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it's everything. So thank you all. Part of me wants to make a Don't You Dare Go Hollow 2 and try replicate and chase that success, skipping some important topics in the process, just like if I went through this gate and went straight into Blighttown. But I'm going to stick to my plan, go down to the depths, struggle, and hopefully learn some things and come out the other side stronger. I'm going to enjoy this journey. In life, there are shortcuts everywhere, ways to skip hardship and struggle, to avoid the experiences we can learn from, and just coast to where we want to be. You can use AI to do whatever you need, but you won't get the experience from just doing it yourself. I could ask AI to write this script, and it would do a half-decent job, and it would be safe and boring, but in reality I'd be doing myself a disservice. I wouldn't be learning anything myself, and I personally wouldn't actually be creating anything. Shortcuts can get you to the end, but the struggle to reach that end is where the real memories are made. I'd rather have something I've created be 100% mine, and not something that belongs to an algorithm. I mean, Dark Souls isn't this safe and polished experience. It's famous for being clunky, yet intentional. And that's why I, for one, absolutely love it. Whenever I start a new playthrough of Dark Souls, I usually take the master key. Even if I don't end up using it, it's just a bit of a habit. Using it would mean to skip some pretty integral parts of the process of playing through the game. Skipping some major areas, and skipping some important bosses, items, and souls. This is fine if you have the experience and you just want to blast through the game. The quickest I've ever beaten Dark Souls is a little over 2 hours. It was fun, it was exciting, and it was new to try speed run through it, but for today, for this playthrough, I'm going to go slow. Because sometimes going slow and enjoying the process is what I need. To not rush myself and to truly savor the experience. So I've decided I'm not going to use the master key, and instead of skipping straight to Blighttown, I'm going to go through the lower Undead Burg, the long way round. I know where the shortcuts take me, and this time I'm just interested in the texture of my journey through Lordran. I love my work, but I'm going to be honest. Most days, I look at the clock and I'm just dying to get home, just to get into bed and scrunch myself into as tight a ball as I can. But even in those hours when my legs hurt and I'm exhausted, there's a meat to the day that I need. I learn so much every shift. I socialize, and I get to have as much fun as possible. And I fear that if I did actually skip the meat of my work, I wouldn't be the same person sitting here recording this video. The same kid about to get blasted by the Capra Demon. But back to the long walk to said boss. A couple of you might be thinking, that area is not really worth your time. There's nothing important down there. You can skip some bullshit and just get straight to the second bell as soon as possible. And yeah, you're right. I know what's down there. But this area of the game was intended to be experienced next. And I think I will. Let's go get some souls and level up my endurance a little bit more. The same can be said about real life. Skipping the process and reaching a goal early without actually taking any time to learn how to get there doesn't give you any experience at all. And although you've made it to where you want to be, you might just be way too inexperienced when you get there. If I hadn't played through this game a million times and I bypassed a whole section and I found myself in Blighttown, I'd be fucked. And if you cheat your way to a promotion or a creative goal in life, the same can be said for you. You know, you didn't build the poise you need during the struggle, and you're going to get crushed. I mean, just look at Siegmeyer of Katarina, the Onion Knight. He's out here for adventure, but we spend the whole game just like master keying his life for him. We open the gates, we kill the monsters in his way, and we give him the shortcuts. And what ends up happening to him? You know, he didn't earn the struggle, he loses his purpose, and he goes hollow because his journey had no meat left in it. He was a hero with no hurdles, and that's what destroyed him. I often find myself wanting to fast forward parts of my life. Sometimes I'm just doing nothing, and I think if I could skip forward 10 years, I'd have all the money I've saved up. You know, maybe I'd have a nice place to live. Maybe I'd have a family. All the fruits of my labors will be realized. You know, maybe I'd even have 50 subscribers. I don't know. And the more I think about it, like with most things, the more I realize that would just strip the fun of everyday life away. And it would remove the struggles I face and the solutions I find for them. And at the end of the day, if I fast forwarded the next 10 years of my life, I'd be the same person I am now with everything I'm striving for. I'd have no improvements. I'd have the same flaws. I'd have some of the things I want, but I wouldn't have the experience of working towards them or the satisfaction. I wouldn't have the work I've put in to realize my goals, the things I've learnt within that time. And to be honest, I could be a completely different person in 10 years. Who knows? And by fast forwarding, I'd be skipping all the bonfires along the way, the quiet moments after a hard shift, the reward of finally publishing that video or getting to the end of a book, the moments I get to sit, reflect, and realize I'm doing okay. We all know you can't level up if you don't stop to rest. I think back in my past and all the trials and tribulations that have brought me to where I am now, the good and the bad. And I can't help but think of all that needed to happen for me to be the person I am today. And I wouldn't trade a second of any of it away. I think about how university was a huge waste of time and money. I didn't even get a degree at the end of the day. I left, I flunked. But still, I have some incredible memories and some incredible friends to show for it. I think about my bakery business collapsing and leaving me broke, but also how it shaped who I am today, showed me my love for cooking, and it taught me skills I really could not have learned anywhere else. It doesn't matter if I won or I lost, as long as I take something away from it. We subconsciously learn so much about ourselves and the world around us every day, and we don't even notice. A lot of people want their lives to look like some polished cinematic trailer you can post on Instagram, but the best part of life, for me anyway, you know, the university, the bakery, they were the depths, you know, they were the hard parts. If I went back in time and I edited out all my mistakes, I'd have edited out all the lessons I'd learned. And, you know, my soul, the dark soul, I don't know, whatever. That wasn't that funny. In the game, you know, the "you died" screen isn't a failure. It's a lesson. And it's the same in life. My bakery failing wasn't a game over. It was just a tough boss I had to learn from. So instead of skipping to the credits, let's just enjoy the grind. Every boss is a challenge, every run back is a challenge. Waking up and going to work every day is a challenge. And whether we win or we lose, we learn. So I'm putting the master key away. I'm heading down into the lower Undead Burg, and I'm going to face that demon in that tiny little closet, and and a couple of mangy dogs as well. It's going to be cramped. It's going to be frustrating, and I'll probably get sent back to the bonfire more than once. But that's the point. We're so obsessed with the destination, the paycheck, the 50 subscribers, the ringing of the second bell. We treat the meat of our lives like an obstacle to be bypassed. Here's the chef in me speaking. The meat is where the flavor is. My bakery failing, the long shifts where my legs ache, the university years that felt like a detour, that wasn't filler. That was the actual experience. You don't build poise by skipping struggle. You build it by walking through the grime and realizing you're still standing on the other side. So whether you're staring at a fog gate in Lordran or just trying to get through a shift you'd rather skip, don't look for the shortcut. Take the long way round with me. The views are better when you've earned the climb, man. And victory actually has some weight to it. So thank you for being part of my covenant. I'll see you in the depths. Stay human, and don't you dare go hollow. Thanks for watching. Love you lots. Bye-bye.